Have you ever stared at the night sky and felt small, like your dreams could never match the vastness of the universe? Imagine a boy who refused to accept limits, who dared to chase infinity itself, and discovered that the greatest discoveries aren't out there, but within. In a quiet town surrounded by hills and rivers lived a boy named Kalian. Even as a child, Kalian had a restless spark in his eyes, a curiosity that never seemed satisfied. While other kids played games or watched cartoons, he would wander to the hilltops, climb trees, and watch the clouds move, wondering why things were the way they were. One evening, when he was barely 10, Kalian sat under a giant oak tree, staring at the stars. His father, noticing his son's gaze, asked, "What are you thinking about, Kalian?" "I want to know everything," Kalian said quietly. "I want to know why the stars shine, why rivers flow, why people dream, and what infinity really is." His father chuckled but saw the seriousness in his eyes. "Infinity isn't something you catch," he said. "It's something you chase, and in chasing it, you learn the true power of yourself." From that day, Kalian dedicated himself to learning. He spent hours in the library, devouring books on mathematics, physics, philosophy, and the mysteries of the universe. He tinkered with old machines in his garage, building small inventions, some of which exploded spectacularly. Yet every failure fueled his curiosity. In school, Kalian was often misunderstood. Teachers called him a dreamer. Classmates teased him for being different. But Kalian never stopped. He believed that the limits everyone else accepted were illusions. If people could imagine it, he thought, it could exist. When he turned 13, Kalian discovered an old telescope in his attic. It was dusty and broken, but to him, it was a treasure. He worked for weeks repairing it, even learning basic mechanics from old manuals. On the night he finally fixed it, he looked through the lens and saw the universe like never before. Stars, planets, and distant galaxies sparkled in ways he had only imagined. That night, Kalian made a promise to himself. He would chase infinity, not to conquer it, but to understand it, to understand himself, and to inspire others to reach beyond their limits. Years passed. Kalian's inventions grew bolder. He built small machines that could capture energy from sunlight more efficiently, gadgets that helped his neighbors, and even a device that could simulate star patterns. Yet every success was followed by failure. Experiments went wrong, ideas were stolen, and sometimes, even his closest friends doubted him. There was a time when Kalian faced his darkest moment. A fire in his garage destroyed months of work. People told him to give up. They said he was chasing dreams that didn't exist. Kalian sat among the ruins, staring at the charred remains of his inventions. For the first time he questioned, but then he remembered the words his father had said. "Infinity is something you chase. In the chase, you find yourself." With renewed determination, Kalian started again. He rebuilt, redesigned, and experimented with more focus than ever before. Slowly, people began to notice, not just his inventions, but his relentless spirit. By the age of 17, Kalian had created something extraordinary, a device that could model complex patterns of the universe on a small scale, revealing connections no one had seen before. Scientists visited his small town to witness his work, and media outlets called him a prodigy. Yet Kalian remained humble. He didn't chase recognition, he chased understanding. Kalian's journey taught him something profound. Chasing infinity wasn't about reaching a final destination. It was about pushing boundaries, learning from failures, and inspiring others to believe in their own limitless potential. On one clear night, Kalian stood on the hilltop looking at the stars. He smiled, remembering the boy who had first sat under the oak tree, dreaming of the impossible. He realized that the chase never ended. Infinity was still out there, but so was the endless potential inside him, inside every person who dared to dream. Kalian's story spread across towns and cities. Kids who had been told they weren't smart enough or creative enough began to explore, experiment, and dream. Adults who had settled for mediocrity remembered their forgotten ambitions. Kalian had become more than a boy who chased infinity. He had become a symbol of hope, courage, and the power of the human spirit. Chasing infinity isn't about achieving perfection or reaching the stars. It's about daring to dream, embracing failure, and finding the limitless potential inside yourself. Every boundary you encounter is just a stepping stone, every failure, a lesson. The moment you stop fearing what's impossible, you start discovering who you really are.